6 a.m., time to rise and shine. Well, welcome in. It's the early game. Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen, as we get you up and get you going on a Thursday morning that actually was not that bad coming in this morning. I hate to say it now when I get up and I'm like, ooh, we're almost there.
It's close. It's getting there.
We're almost there. Preston and I were even debating if the pollen was starting to show up outside, if allergies were starting to kick in on some people now. And are you going with yes?
Yeah, I've seen pollen. It's starting.
Okay.
It's starting, which is a good thing. That means spring is on.
So spring is here. Baseball is here. South Carolina, another run rule last night. This one goes to the 8th inning, though, before scoring to put it away 13-3 yesterday, I should say. Not really last night, but over Queens College. The run rule in effect again.
10-run mercy rule.
The clobber rule.
Clobber rule.
Skunked them.
Yeah, the run rule is so like, oh, we got run ruled. What is that?
They just hopped on their bus and went right on back up to Queens College with Rex the Royal or Rex the what was it? Rex the Lion that Jen pointed out. So that was the big deal yesterday, and again, no problem really for South Carolina baseball. And so let me just ask you, I'm going to kind of piggyback real quick off of your question from yesterday. The way we kind of answered, like you said, when do we buy into this team? Is there anything they do, like in a midweek game like this against Queens, or anything that they do against Belmont this weekend that you go, oh yeah, no, or that you already weren't bought in, that you go, oh yeah, okay, now I see it.
Mercy ruling.
Three straight mercy rules.
Mercy rule yes, run the table. Get them out of here.
Okay.
There's a reason why you are here and they are there, and make sure they know that when they leave the stadium. When they leave the stadium, make sure they understand that, yes, I play at Queens College and they play at University of South Carolina.
Real quick, is there if you're a fan, not the team, you said Lou Holtz would always say, it's not your job.
You have no obligation to make this close.
Okay, if you're a fan, do you feel you should get a refund if you keep going? Is 7 innings like you're all right? I've maxed out this ticket.
No, run rule is good for a fan because that means there's a lot of action. The ball's pinging off the bat everywhere.
Okay, all right.
Things are happening. People are moving around the bases. So especially if you're a South Carolina fan, run rule is awesome because they're scoring a lot of runs.
Okay,
they're throwing the ball's flying everywhere. Things are happening.
I didn't know if there's a level of I want my full 9 innings for my $10 ticket.
No, because I think deep down, by around the 7th and 8th inning, when you're in a mercy rule situation, everybody's like, all right, let's wrap this up. We've got enough baseball. They've hit a home run. They've made errors. That team is clearly inferior. Let's go home.
Is it also our obligation to call them correctly Queens University instead of Queens College?
No, they got mercy ruled.
Okay, there you go. So if you get mercy ruled,
you get mercy ruled, I call you what I want to call you.
There you go. Okay, that's just making sure I'm following your rules this morning,
that's the proper protocol.
So yesterday, 13-3, South Carolina rolls over Queens University, Queens College. Rex the Royal, or whatever he was called, doesn't matter. We'll see him again next year. Appears about this time next year, Queens will come back down to get mercy ruled again, and we'll get back into discussing them a year from now. But this morning we'll talk a little bit about this baseball game. Again, not a whole lot you can learn from last night. We'll talk a little bit about women's basketball. They take on Alabama tonight. We've got some tickets that we will give away for that. 7 o'clock, tip time over at Colonial Life Arena. Just one of 2 remaining regular season home games for the Gamecocks. Hard to believe that now we're starting to wrap it up here with basketball. I mean, it's been enjoyable on both sides, and we'll talk a little bit about that this morning as it pertains to the men and what they've got moving forward. But Preston, it's been actually a really nice, enjoyable month for the University of South Carolina, whether you want to talk about men's or women's basketball, whether you want to talk about the start to baseball, even softball. Softball off to a tear right now in their sport. So great for them. Tennis has been very good. I assume everybody's happy with football when you hire Sean Elliott.
Yeah, I guess football did get a little bit of a pop during this time.
Yeah.
We've had some coaching additions. Yeah. We're in Pleasantville right now.
Yeah.
Happy.
Yeah.
Was Sean Elliott excited about, getting hired and diving right into what they did out at the fort?
Ooh, I have takes.
Can't
I was
wait.
looking here to see where the takes are on our run it odds.
Oh, it would be in the segment they call spring training practice. Training is stupid. It would be right under that. It'd be right in that take, right there.
Yeah, you might want to read the rundown, Bill. You know, welcome.
I didn't spring football training. I get it now. I get what he's going for now. I was interested in that one because I was like, well, I would think spring practice is important. Okay, I'm interested in this take.
It doesn't say RE coaches rolling around in the mud, but yeah, that's where it goes.
Oh, okay, good. So be prepared for that. 7:30 this morning.
I have a full analysis of the breakdown of the video.
That's excellent. I look forward to that. 803-404-6100. Again, we'll give you some baseball tickets for the weekend. We'll give you some basketball tickets for tonight coming up. Might try and do that for the earlier listeners. Do it a little bit earlier this morning here in the 6 o'clock hour. Give away some tickets to events. A lot to get to this morning. Get into a little bit of bracketology as well as we really kick back into full gear with Barrett. Let me say not we. I shouldn't speak for all of y'all. But I will start to kick back into full gear for college basketball. Took my little 3-4 day break, just breather, get away from it a little bit. Now it's about time as we get into South Carolina and Alabama tonight, South Carolina, Mississippi on Saturday. 803-404-6100, how you can be a part of the program. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines. Gamecock Larry wants to weigh in this morning. Gamecock Larry, how you doing?
Good morning. Doing just fine. I want a question for Bill, and then I want to make a comment. Let's see what. But I'm telling you, now you all don't understand this motocross drag racing team. You're going to have to get it. I'm going to have to come in there and school you guys on this. This is a going sport. Man, if you win, it's just like almost like racing. Well, it's the beginning of racing. They raise these youngins up when they were small, raise them up. But I had go-karts in my young days, but like I say, if it ain't got 4 wheels, I ain't riding no 2-wheel. I ain't doing that. But, Bill, I got a question to ask you. Where is Clemson ranked in the top 25?
They are currently not. You there?
You know what?
They're not. They are not ranked in the top 25.
Clemson is ranked in the top 25?
That is correct.
Oh, Bill Cornblue done told. Well, I ain't gonna call nobody. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Let me go back and look. Let me be honest. Like I said, I took a little week off. I've stepped away for 4 days just to.
Yeah, you like them off days, don't you?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, doke.
Yeah, no, Clemson is, well, I only go by the AP top 25, Gamecock Larry. I'll be honest. I think this is, again, a growing portion of me and becoming a little bit callous to rankings because I only go with what the media puts out there. But Clemson is in the others receiving votes category in the AP top 25. They're also, by the way, not in the coaches poll. But, yes, they only have 3 votes there in the AP top 25.
Okay, sir. Thank you. And have a great day. But old Gamecock Larry went out to the VA yesterday, got a good report on everything. Even got my toenails trimmed. Oh, I'm feeling like a good old Gamecock should. Feeling good all day. Have a good one. Love all y'all. Go Gamecock.
You too, buddy. Yeah. Got his toenails trimmed. How regularly do you trim your toenails?
This is a
didn't see this one coming in the first segment.
I didn't see this coming. I try to get a professional pedicure once a month. So in between that time period, that's when I get it done.
Okay, there we go. So
as needed basis,
on a as needed basis. 803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in if you so choose to do so this morning. Again, we'll get to a lot of stuff. Bracketology. Yeah, okay.
We're here.
Let's get back into the bracketology. I'm glad somebody's joining me on this bracketology train. We'll let Preston get into a little bit of that this morning. Apparently, he's got some hot takes on spring football training, not spring football practice. I now see.
Yeah, spring football training is different than spring football practice. Both are stupid, but one has a very high level of really really silliness.
All right, we'll get into that this morning. 803-404-6100. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner. She's Jen Jensen. It's the early game.
We get to it.
Oh, we were talking about the spring and pollen being just around the corner, and you know what that means? That pool of yours, it could be a little dirty. You don't want that. You want the pool looking nice. You want it looking ready to come home and jump into. And at Corley Pool Solutions, they believe in providing the absolute highest quality of swimming pool service at the most affordable price to you and your family. So give the pool guru a call today, 803-445-8109. That is Tracy Corley with over 20 years of experience in the pool maintaining industry. He knows exactly how to keep that pool looking crystal clear and ready to be used. So call him today, 803-445-8109. Go ahead, schedule that maintenance, have that pool ready to use when you come home during the hot days of summer with Tracy Corley and Corley Pool Solutions. They have flat rate pricing, including all of the chemicals. More affordable for you to use them than a pool company. So call Tracy Corley and Corley Pool Solutions today, 803-445-8109.
No accidents to report at this time, and we will certainly welcome that your Thursday morning. And as far as your forecast is concerned, some clouds today, but we should get up to about 69, and then that overnight low, a little bit warmer, 53 for that overnight. Tomorrow, tomorrow. Got the days all mixed up this week. It's going to be 70 tomorrow with some morning showers that should be clearing out later in the day. We go into the 60s for the weekend, and then we start into the 70s starting on Monday. So that's welcome for sure. But right now, it is 40 on the early game.
$8:17 as we get you up and get you going here on a Thursday morning. Some basketball tonight, and we'll give you some tickets, give you a chance to win some tickets here coming up in just a little while for South Carolina and Alabama tonight over at Colonial Life Arena. Again, 7 o'clock tip time. Pregame on our sister station, WISW 1320. Pregame will get going at 6:30. Of course, right here on 107.5 The Game. We will have Lamont Paris's call-in show. Be the first time we hear from him since really we could have just had that hotkey of when Lamont Paris was like, "Whoa."
Well, that wasn't fun.
Yeah. So
Traveling key.
First time we'll be hearing from him since last Saturday. We'll hear how the week has gone. Also get an update tonight. Again, it'll be right here on 107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. We'll get an update on Meechie Johnson, and this will lead us now into the final 5 games of the season. 3 on the road, 2 at home. Mississippi, Texas A&M, and Mississippi State all on the road. Preston Thornton, Florida, Tennessee, not in that order, Tennessee then Florida, at home. And I think that's right. I'd have to go back and look at the schedule. But the bottom line is 5 games left. Bracketology. So happy I have somebody in here who will discuss bracketology with me. According to Joe Lunardi, South Carolina did drop just a little bit. This is actually his bracketology from Tuesday is when he last did it. South Carolina obviously falling a little bit. Now a 7 seed taking on New Mexico.
Very clear. We might be sure. As I'm looking at this, 7 seed with the down arrow. Does that mean that they fall in or
yes.
that they fell?
Right, they moved down.
Okay, just that they moved down.
Right. Yeah, that's all.
I just don't want to make sure that's not him projecting that he sees them falling even more.
No.
Okay.
He's got it like Duke. He's got moving up a little bit. Charleston he now has in as in College of Charleston. Charleston he's got in as a automatic qualifier. Going back to Gamecock Larry's question, Clemson is on the top half of the bracket. Do you see them just yet? Are you looking? You see them as we scour the internet here for Clemson in the Joe Lunardi bracket? I know they're in here.
No, I don't see them yet.
No, there they are, 5 seed. 5 seed in the West. South Carolina and Clemson will both be in the West. Clemson would be the 5 seed, taking on the 12 seed Samford. South Carolina will be the 7 seed, taking on 10 seed New Mexico. With a possible, this is where it gets fun. This is with a possible second round matchup against Kansas.
Bring them on.
I kind of like that. And then that could possibly lead to a matchup with maybe Duke, maybe Charleston, maybe BYU, or maybe Texas A&M in the Sweet 16.
Are you based on this bracket? Does that lead us to a possible Elite 8 or?
I kind of wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that. Duke would be a little scary because I think one of the first times in a while that Duke actually is a little more experienced. You know, you go back to even when South Carolina knocked them off in the round of 32. That wasn't it had Grayson Allen on it, but it was still, I think that was the Jason Tatum team. I think somebody can correct me if I'm wrong with that, but I think it was Jason Tatum was on that team. And I've always questioned, that's like the Zion Williamson, R.J. Barrett, Cam Reddish team. That just, if you get them into the tournament and you put the pressure on them of win or go home, I think one and dones can tend to fall apart occasionally, not all the time, but that's where I think Duke actually having a little bit of experience this year might be a little bit different than they've been in the past.
All right, so look, so we got a nice little bracket. We're going out to Omaha. Going out to Omaha to check that out and see what's going on out there. So I mean, yeah, this is cool. Solid. I like our standing. Obviously, I think we would want to win these games, the remaining games, and see where you end up. But even still, it's nice to be included in the number. It's nice to be in the bracket. It's nice to be in this conversation.
Just for the record, by the way, the SEC in this thing has 9 teams in the conference breakdown here. That's tied with the Big 12 for most teams. It is, I think it's kind of sneaky how the SEC went from about 10 years ago being a average to maybe even below average basketball conference to really becoming one of the top basketball conferences. If it's up there. They are up there, obviously, when you look at conference breakdown in 9 teams, which matches, again, the Big 12, how difficult the league has become. And at least as of now, these things are fluid. But as of now, Preston, all 5 games remaining are quad 1 victories. If you can go 3-2, you're going to probably end up higher than a 7 seed. I think also part of what you're fighting for here is the opportunity to get the double bye and play on Friday at the SEC tournament as opposed to having to go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Hypothetical, if you get the double bye and you lose, is that better than not getting the double bye, winning a game and losing in the next round?
That's a great question. I don't know.
I wondered that.
There are times like, that's a great question that I don't know. To get one win in the conference tournament, even if it's over, a team that's not going to make the postseason, and then lose in the next round to a team, one of the top 4 teams. That's a great question that I don't know that I'd be interested in hearing what the committee would always have to say about that. As of today, South Carolina's firmly in the in the NCAA tournament. But you look at it again, games still against Tennessee, and Tennessee obviously at this point in the season 20-6. Games against Florida. Florida fighting for the NCAA tournament. They're 18-8. A game against Mississippi State on the road, 18-8. Mississippi this weekend, 19-7. And again, Texas A&M, who I just skipped completely right over. Texas A&M, 15-11. Texas A&M kind of on the outside looking in of the NCAA tournament at this point in the season.
All right, so I mean, looking at these games, it looks as if obviously all winnable games that they can. And you said you go 3-2 during these last games, and you got a chance to advance and move yourself up in the bracket. And that's all you want. All you want is to be involved in this. So what I'm wondering is, aside from winning all the games, yes, we want to do that. Where is the emphasis? And I've always gotten a little confused on this as far as how you want to perform in the SEC tournament. What's the value of SEC tournament wins? Going back to the question I just asked, if you get a double bye and you lose, is that less important than actually going and winning a game? So I think there's still a lot of questions that need to be answered, and they will as the season plays out.
Yeah, well, here's the other part. You look at it, this is going back to the bracketology, and this is Joe Lunardi's bracketology. Texas A&M is one of the last 4 byes, meaning they wouldn't have to go to Dayton. Mississippi, who they play this weekend, is last 4 in, meaning they would be playing in Dayton and they'd be playing Seton Hall. I will say, and I'd have to go back and look at the yearly breakdown of South Carolina, Mississippi. Gamecocks have not performed well in Oxford, in my memory. Like I don't remember them going to Oxford for whatever reason. That seems to just be a house of horrors out there whenever South Carolina visits there. So, but I look at these 2 games right here, these 2 road games, Mississippi and Texas A&M, and I look at those as being not the most important of Lamont Pearson, but
come on,
I honestly don't know.
Must win? Can we put it in a must win category?
I think at worst you have to split them.
Come on, Bill.
Now all these things are
Bill.
I think you got to. I think that's what you got to. You got to split them.
Can we not make it a must win?
Well, if you lose the Mississippi game.
So
it would make next week's Texas A&M game probably. I mean, look, here's where things get a little kooky, and I was talking to somebody about this yesterday, and the more I talked about it, the more I realized how bad that loss was to LSU. It was a home game, because I think you could have, if you'd have won that home game, you could have lost all 3 road games, and maybe even lost. There's going to be no shame in losing to Tennessee or Florida. You conceivably could have gone 1-4.
And I'm not saying they should have lost because they beat themselves, no question. But you saw LSU won again to another ranked opponent. So it's interesting to see what LSU is doing right now. Still no excuse, but, trying to maybe just a little silver,
Well,
tiny lining.
the thing about LSU, and you're right, they beat Kentucky last night 75-74. Back-to-back 1-point victories over
ranked opponents.
top 20 teams. You do need LSU to win a few and maybe move up to a quad. This is where everything gets fluid and it gets odd, and it's slightly annoying.
It's bracketology, baby.
Well,
We're here.
true. That's a good point.
Bill.
Different side of bracketology.
There was nothing annoying about this conversation last season.
Well, it's annoying because it's annoying because now you have to almost check it every morning.
Yes.
Bracketology gets
that's the
updated
fun.
once about every 4 days.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? Like, bracketology is set probably until tomorrow, and Lenardi will redo his bracketology going into the weekend. The net ranking, who knows? it's a fluid every night. Like, I didn't even think about this until Jen just brought it up. Yeah, the fact that LSU won last night may have moved them up a good bit in the net ranking to where now it's a quad 2. I'd have to go and look and see where exactly they're listed at, but Texas A&M again, quad 1 right there. There you see it. So now we're having to go through the net ranking again, but that is how this thing changes and evolves. There they are, LSU now down there at 88. I think that gets them into a quad 2.
Quad 2 loss.
But the thing about it, I look at it, I wish it. Okay, they were actually still at 88. So I see it gives me a previous and gives me a rank. Now this is where we never get to do this enough. So we're all kind of amateurs at it. We haven't had enough experience with. See, the women are too good. We know that they're the overall number 1 seed. The men on the other side, we never get to do this daily checking of the net ranking. It's like get your coffee, maybe get a little donut, and then sit down at your computer and look at the net ranking.
Yeah, the woman is like, are we number 1? Cool. All right, next. And then this one is like, who are we in it? Probably not. All right, let's not check it. So now we get a chance to figure out our chops on, and there seems to not be a lot of movement up and down this area, but this is fun. That's why we put it here. It's bracketology, baby. Every day.
South Carolina 5-2 against quad 3 teams. That would be losses to Georgia and to LSU. So LSU falls into the quad 2 loss at this point now. There you go. Or quad 3 loss. There's your bracketology update. You got it?
Yes, I'm here. I'm ready.
You know what? I know we got to hit a break. Let me see. I've got about 30 seconds to do this just in case we want to give you a little bit more bracketology. According to Jerry Palm, see, another bracketology. He's got South Carolina as a 6th seed in the Midwest against Utah.
Okay. All right.
More bracketology.
Yes.
More bracketology. 803-404-6100. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner. She's Jen Jensen. It's the early game.
Hey, this is Jen for CHW Cabinetry in Lexington. All that demolition that we did in the kitchen, had to have new cabinets installed. That went so incredibly well. They helped us pick out accessories and laying out the design. And then that photorealistic rendering, I'm telling you, made a huge difference because then we were able to pick out other things that we needed to finish out the kitchen. But they do more than kitchens. Do you have a closet? Maybe that needs to be a little bit more functional. The pantry, it's probably could be a mess. You just found something from 2019. Okay, they can help you make that even better functionally. And the storage options, much improved. We actually were so happy that we have a cabinet that needs to go into a Jack and Jill bath, getting that installed on Monday. If you're looking to make some updates in your home, maybe creating even a workspace, visit chwcabinetry.com. Call them today at 803-520-6837. Make sure to tell them Jen Jensen sent you. CHW Cabinetry, passion from inspiration to installation. And out on the highways this morning, we are looking at conditions that have led us to 2 accidents, and one is LeGrand Road near Barbara Drive. It's kind of at Edgewater there. Also 378 between Congaree Road and Old Eastover Road. There is an accident as well. So be careful out there if you would this morning. We are looking for a high today of 62. 69 tomorrow a high today of 69, high tomorrow of 70 with a morning shower, and then in the low to mid 60s over the weekend. But we start ramping up coming on Monday. We're going to be into the 70s for a couple days, so we'll welcome that. But a little bit cooler start. It'll be a better start tomorrow morning. But this morning right now, it's 36 on the early game.
.35 on your Thursday morning commute as we get you up and get you going here. We give so much love, Preston, to Joe Lunardi and the men's bracketology. Well, let's do a little bit here for the women real quick. Just a little bit more bracketology just for those wondering. South Carolina, obviously, according to, this is Charlie Cream. Poor Charlie Cream does not get the love, the attention that Joe Lunardi gets with ESPN, but he does have South Carolina, as you would expect, as the top overall seed. They would be here in Columbia. Right now, he has them hosting Army and Eastern Illinois in the play-in game, the first round, technically the first round game. The winner of Army and Eastern Illinois would then play South Carolina, and he has Nebraska and Miami coming to Columbia.
Okay, Nebraska beat the Caitlin Clarksters, so that's something to keep your eye on.
Okay. All right. Just FYI, the 2 seed in this region that he has, which he's got listed as Albany, South Carolina would stay on the eastern seaboard and play in Albany as opposed to going to Portland. The 2 seed would be Oregon State, the 3 seed Virginia Tech, and the 4 seed Gonzaga.
Got nothing on that one, but I do know Virginia Tech has been playing well this year, and they were sort of on the radar last year. So that's something interesting, but I don't have any in-depth reporting on that.
Neither do I. Just scrolling down, you see who South Carolina would match up with in the Final Four.
Oh, that's light work.
Iowa. Iowa would be, at least according to Charlie Cream, would be on the Gamecocks portion of the Final Four. So they would not play in the championship game. South Carolina would get Iowa in almost in a rematch of the Final Four game last year.
Some PA somewhere is already cutting things together. You know, rematch music, putting the music behind some scenes of Caitlin Clark shooting from the logo, Dawn Staley yelling. There's somebody somewhere is putting together a package already.
The other side of the bracket, for those who wonder, the other side of the women's bracket, Stanford would be the 1 seed, and Ohio State would be the other 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. By the way, the 2 seed, for those wondering where anybody else is, NC State is a 2 seed in the Iowa regional. Southern Cal is a 2 seed in the Southern Cal. Southern Cal is a 2 seed in the Ohio State regional, and then Texas is a 2 seed in the Stanford regional.
Southern Cal has the which will probably be the freshman of the year, Juju Watkins. So she'll probably more than likely be freshman of the year.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of love there for the women's side of things. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and give you a chance to win tickets to tonight's Alabama-South Carolina basketball game, 7 o'clock over at Colonial Life Arena. We'll take caller number 4 right now. Give some of you early listeners a chance to win tickets. 803-404-6100. Caller number 3 right now can win a pair of tickets to tonight's South Carolina-Alabama matchup over at Colonial Life Arena. 7 o'clock tip time. Again, if you're not going, pregame starts right here on starts on 1320 at 6:30. So we'll take caller number 3 right now. Can win yourself a pair of tickets to tonight's contest over at Colonial Life Arena. 803-404-6100. Switching gears, you've got your Mel Kiper hat on. You're ready to go. Caleb Williams, Justin Fields, Drake May. What do you got, Preston Thorne?
We're here. The conversation has come up on what's going to happen with Justin Fields. Are they going to trade the pick? Are the Bears going to trade the pick for Caleb Williams? Is that an upgrade? What's going on with Drake May? Obviously, we know our guy is in the mix, and so we had Mel Kiper has put up his early, not too early, right before the draft, big board, and our guy's on there. Now, would you want to take a guess at where Spencer falls on Mel Kiper's top 10?
Is this when you say where he's top 10? Is this top 10 position or top 10 quarterback?
Top 10 quarterbacks.
All right, I am not looking, so I'm just going to ballpark this out for a second. I'm going to go. He's got Caleb Williams 1, Drake May 2.
No.
Michael Penix.
Close.
Jaden Daniels.
You're in the mix. They're all in the bag. You're scrambling them up, but they're all in the bag. But
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was going for number 2. I was just okay. So are those the top 4?
those are the top 4.
Okay, those are the top 4.
In a different order, though.
Okay. So I'll take a guess. There's always some quarterback that I've barely seen or know very little about. Some small school quarterback that always works the way there. I'll go Rattler is at 6.
Very close. Very close. Not quite, but very close. They have Rattler at 7.
Okay.
Have Rattler at 7. So the top, according to Mel Kiper, who, whatever. Caleb Williams, number 1. Jaden Daniels, number 2. Heisman Trophy winner Jaden Daniels. Drake May, number 3. J.J. McCarthy, 4.
Wow.
Michael Penix, 5. And then your guy, the college vet himself, the most storied quarterback in college football history.
Oh, Bo Nix.
Bo Nix at number 6.
Yeah.
Yes, and then you have Spencer Rattler coming in at 7. And what he basically says is what everybody said about Spencer Rattler. Big arm, put up big numbers. We'll see if the height and size requirements are something that scares teams away from him.
I'm a little surprised with J.J. McCarthy that high up. I just didn't think J.J. McCarthy was a dynamic NFL-type quarterback. Bo Nix, I forgot about. I forgot about Bo Nix. But that would have – J.J. McCarthy is going to be interesting. I feel like J.J. McCarthy is going to be your game manager that just needs to go to a team that already has all the weapons and not be asked to step in and be counted on to be a starter like next year or the year after.
Well, again, the formula in the NFL, in order for you to win, is to get a rookie quarterback on a very low contract, being able to build around them. You got about a 4-year window. And I'm going to be honest, as I go through this list, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, JJ, Michael Penix Jr., are any of them, I've said this over and over again, are any of them that much better than Spencer Rattler? I personally don't think so.
So this is interesting. Give me who's 8? Do you have 8?
Now this is where your number comes in. This is the guy you was looking for. Michael Pratt from Tulane.
Yeah. Yeah, I forget about him. 803-404-6100. I tell you what, when we come back, I'm going to put something. We'll put it on the record. I will say who is going to have the best NFL career out of those.
Nice.
We'll go out of those 7. I will rank. I will give you I don't have the hair like Mel Kiper, but I'll give you my personal top 7, and I'm going to have to factor in a little bit of where they're going to go, where they're going to be drafted, and who they could be drafted to, but who ends up with the best career out of those 7.
Okay.
All right, we'll do that. We'll see if you agree, and also we'll see if Jen is interested in taking Caleb Williams over Justin Fields, or if she wants to stick with what she knows.
Boy, what a pick. What a pick.
How about we could at least maybe talk about the new assistant running backs. Running backs.
I did
coach.
see that. So we'll have some Bears talk here.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Bears have a decision to make. Do I go with a malcontent in Justin Fields, or I don't know if I can find the word for Caleb Williams.
I think both are dangerous, but it's who you do you take the evil that you know, or do you take the evil that you don't know? Yeah, good luck, Jen. We'll get Jen's take on that, and I'll give you my rankings when we come back. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner. She's Jen Jensen. It's the early game. 6:48 as we roll along here on a Thursday morning, getting you up, getting you going. Again, basketball tonight over at Colonial Life Arena. We've got Dawn Staley's team taking on Alabama. 6:30 pregame on ESPN 1320 right here in Columbia, and then the game will get going, tip-off 7 o'clock on right here on 107.5 The Game, 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. Also a reminder, tonight, 6 o'clock right here, 107.5 The Game, 100.3 The Game, Myrtle Beach. We'll have Carolina Calls with Lamont Paris. Baseball team back in action tomorrow, 4 o'clock over at Founders Park. They will start a 3-game series against against Belmont. 803-404-6100. Last time I did this, Preston Thorne, I actually doubted about it. I sat quietly during that break because I was going to start with saying
scrolling furiously.
Last time I did this, I think I failed miserably.
Okay.
But I'm not sure as I did this, as I pondered this.
You got to be like a defensive back, though. Quick mentality. Forget short memory. We're on to the next one.
Well, I'll be honest. I now am not sure that I failed miserably. Real quick, not to go too far down a rabbit hole with you on this. How do you rank the career of Joe Burrow right now?
Very high.
Do you?
Yeah, despite injuries.
Well, no, that's why I started to think about this for a second.
Despite injuries, he took his team. He took the Cincinnati Bengals to the Super Bowl. Yes.
Okay, all right,
he's been successful.
So okay, So it would be fair to say then that the last time I did this, and I said that the Cincinnati Bengals should take Chase Young with the number 1 pick. You would say I failed miserably then.
Yeah.
Because I would say Joe Burrow's career has been better than Chase Young, but it depends on how high you want to put the career to say how miserably I failed.
Oh, that's a blunder.
Yeah, okay.
Chase Young just recently got traded mid-season.
Right, yes.
To be a complimentary piece on this 49. He was like the 5th starter on the defensive line for the 49.
Yes, so
he's the 6th man coming off the D-line.
So you would say that the last time I did something similar to what I'm about to do, it was a complete bomb.
But that should not stop you.
I'm coming right back.
There we go.
Well, I wouldn't say right back. I think 4 years later.
That's the mentality.
4 years later, I'm now going to try this again. So, okay. So you got the top 7 quarterbacks according to Mel Kiper. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix, Spencer Rattler. Top 7. So during the break, very quickly now, I'm factoring in where I think these guys could get drafted because I'll be honest, if the Bears take any quarterback, I'm instantly going to say that that quarterback will not make it. Like and quite honestly, number 2 is the Commanders. I'm pretty much going to rule out success for that quarterback. So right there, instantly, I have moved Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels very far down. As a matter of fact, and I'm with Ray. Ray weighs in on our Firehouse Subs text line, and he says J.J. McCarthy equals Mac Jones.
No. Not at all. Nah.
Okay.
No.
I've got this is again. I'm a lot of fluid factors here, so I'm going to just start with of those 7 quarterbacks, the quarterback that will have the worst NFL career will be J.J. McCarthy. I'm going 7.
Whoa.
I'm going 7 here on McCarthy. Yeah, you're going to want to. It's going to be a lot of people who's ready to call me out here in about 2 or 3. You're going to have to stick with this one. This is one of those long game, drawn out like Gunner. You didn't know what you're talking about. But I'm going McCarthy at 7. At 6, worst NFL careers, I'm going Jaden Daniels. I think he goes to the Commanders, and that's not his fault. He's just going to be put in a bad position. Some of this has nothing to do with how good I think these quarterbacks are. It's part of, again, who I think going. Number 5, it's Caleb Williams. Go to the Bears. I think the Bears pick him. I think that ruins his career. Sorry, Caleb Williams. You didn't have as much success in college. You did win a Heisman. I hope you enjoyed the success you did have. You're not going to have much playing for the 2-15 Bears. Sorry, Jen. Bears are going to mess him up.
I think so.
Spencer Rattler will go mid-second round, somewhere maybe early 3rd round. I think he goes to a good team who's looking for some depth and maybe looking toward the future. Something like the Seahawks that aren't a bad, of course, new coach there. But I think he goes to a good, an average to good franchise. Not a great one. I'll take Spencer Rattler at 4. I think Drake May's going to fall a little bit, and I think Drake May's going to end up in a good situation. I'll take Drake May having the 3rd best career out of these 7. I'm a big fan of Michael Penix Jr. I think he's old. He's got injury issues, but he's experienced. I'm taking him at number 2. And that leaves me with my guy, Bo Nix. Will have the best NFL career. Bo Nix will slide further down. He'll go to a quality franchise as long as the Jets don't do something stupid with pick 10 and take him, and get more excited about him. But I think he goes to a quality franchise. I'll give you a perfect example right here at 19. Now I know this according to 6. If he goes to the Rams, I like that. Maybe the Steelers jump in there. They realize it's time to move on from Kenny Pickett. I'm okay with that. Who knows? Maybe the Cowboys jump in there and they're tired of Dak Prescott. They figure it's time to move on. Don't like the contract. Don't like what we're doing there. Okay, there. That's fine. I'm okay. Maybe Tampa Bay decides Baker Mayfield is not the option. Or maybe they just look at it as just a one-year option. I'm okay with that. I'm telling you, Bo Nix has the best career out of this group.
All right, so that's a very interesting take. My objections to each one of these people. Bo Nix, his age, he's 35 years old already, right? So he's already maxed
23.
out. He's already maxed out his limit. How old is he going to get? Penix, he has 2 mechanic knees on both sides.
Yes.
Don't know how that's going to work in the future. Drake, I'm falling on Drake and Spencer.
Okay. All right. We'll get back into this because we might have a path to go down here. Your worst sports hot take of all time. I've got a good one right here from a texter. We'll get to that. We'll get to a few other things this morning. We're rolling along. It's the early game.
There is a disabled vehicle that has the right exit ramp blocked, and that would be at I-26 westbound there at exit 91. So again, it's more of the right exit ramp is blocked at this time. So slow down, be careful approaching that. An accident, LeGrand Road near Barber Drive, and 378 between Congaree Road and Old Eastover Road. And we are looking for that nicer forecast for a few days. We have talked about that there could be a little bit of pollen swirling around a couple different trees. But anyway, we're enjoying warmer temperatures. 68 today, 69 tomorrow with some morning showers. Right now, though, it's 38.
Eight zero 404-6100. That's how you can weigh in if you want to do so this morning, as one of our loyal texters did. I said Manning couldn't win big games, would absolutely take Ryan Leaf, and I haven't been able to speak on QB drafts since.
I'm going to second that one.
Oh, really?
Yes, at the time, my good friend and quarterback, Division I quarterback, high school coach Bennett Swigert, was telling me that Peyton Manning was better. I, the defensive lineman, argued for Ryan Leaf.
Oh.
He doesn't let me live that down. I was like, I don't know. So yeah, I was on that one. I was on that same train.
You were on the Ryan Leaf train?
Yeah.
Are you of the opinion if Ryan Leaf had gone to the Colts with more at that time more of a stable franchise than the Chargers?
Nah, knowing what we know now, Ryan Leaf was in a difficult period in his life, and he just needed to get some things correct. I don't think that would have worked anywhere. You know, the combination of his instability along with the pressure of being a professional, I don't think it would have worked.
Chris weighs in this morning. He goes with a couple here. He says Bears need to trade that number one pick. They need more than just a quarterback. Like you said, you need playmakers around a manageable quarterback. Also, by the way, yes, I was watching TV and they were going through what teams need. Never a good sign when your team pops up and it's like positions, primary positions of need, and you have 5 of them. And that's what it was for the Raiders yesterday. It was just listed. Basically should have just said the whole team. But it listed that. Chris also says Cowboys, he's going with Cowboys are picking up Spencer Rattler in the 3rd round.
Okay.
So
definitely there's, for all of the craziness that we think of Jerry Jones, he's not that crazy, but it's a stable outfit, and that's not a bad place to go end up.
I still think way back in the day they locked him in a room during the 1st round so he didn't draft Johnny Manziel. If you remember, they went with the very smart, safe pick of Zach Martin, the left. I think it was left guard.
But who wants to pick a left guard?
Not Jerry Jones. All I could imagine was that they sent him to the vending machine when it was their pick. Like, Jerry, real quick, you're closest to the door. Do you mind running out there and grabbing us a Snickers or something? And he came back and he's like, "All right, we taking Manziel." Like, "Oh, sorry, we didn't know that's who you wanted. We went ahead and picked a guard."
Well, don't worry, because the owner of the Browns said that a fella that was on the street living, an unhoused fella, told him to pick Johnny Manziel, and that's where he got his intuition from. So there's not a shortage of dumb NFL owners.
Yeah. So,
especially for when it came to him.
So in the last segment, one thing we did was Preston gave me the top 7 quarterbacks according to Mel Kiper. In order: Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, J.J. McCarthy, which I actually am surprised by that. Michael Penix Jr. at 5. Was that right? Penix was 4. You had McCarthy at 5, right?
Yes.
Okay, or not you, but McCarthy at 5, Bo Nix at 6, Spencer Rattler. I then turned around and gave I then turned around and gave my picks on who's going to have the best career. Bo Nix is going to have the best career, followed by Michael Penix Jr. Drake May at 3, Spencer Rattler at 4, Caleb Williams because he's stuck going to the Bears, and that's never good, at 5, Jaden Daniels at 6 because going to the Commanders is somehow worse than going to the Bears, and then I've got J.J. McCarthy at 7 just because I don't think he's going to be a good NFL quarterback. Therefore, you may want to take J.J. McCarthy wherever he goes to win a Super Bowl. Just go ahead and put that down in advance. 803-404-6100, how you can weigh in. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines. Larry wants to weigh in this morning. Larry, how you doing? What's on your mind?
Yeah, good morning, gentlemen. I remember when that draft was going on, and Peyton can't win the big one. I didn't even like Peyton Manning then. I didn't even like him until he had been in the pros for about 10 or 12 years. However, one thing I learned when I was at Auburn, I had watched Carolina football and ACC football all my life, and I thought it was great. When I got to Auburn, I figured out in a hurry, hey, man, this is like the NFL of college football. That's a whole different playing field, and everybody is your rival. You hate everybody, everybody hates you. Looking at it at the time, I'm like, man, this guy Ryan Leaf, he's about as crazy as an outhouse mouse. I'm not sure I'd sign him. But that's just me.
No. You turned out to be right. It wasn't just you. Your intuition might have been correct on that one.
And this is really interesting, and we'll get into draft talk a little bit later, but all the indications were there. He was not a captain on his team. All reports indicate that he wasn't a great teammate at Washington State. There were issues there. So it's not as if these things just popped up, but we all get blinded by arm talent, height, size, and it didn't work. I just have a hot take, though.
Okay, we're fired him out this morning.
The take that Peyton Manning can't win the big one, it's true. Peyton Manning cannot win the big one. He didn't win the big one in the NFL until he was way past his prime, in which he had nothing to do with actually winning those games. And so I would like to go on the record and say, great quarterback, can't win the big one.
All right, hold on.
He didn't win the big one. I mean, he was on the team when his team won the big one, but I mean, I don't have his statistics from the Super Bowl, but
the second one is bad.
He did not.
You are right. You're 100% right on the second. The second one, he was noodle-armed. The injury had caught up with him. I will pull back up the stats. I don't feel like he won. I don't feel like he threw for 200 yards in the Broncos Super Bowl victory in the second one there. I'll pull those back up. Now, I understand what you're saying, and I'm not telling you you're wrong on this. How much stock do you put on the fact that he had to constantly go against what you have labeled and what many have labeled the greatest of all time so many times to get to the Super Bowl? That his path had to go through Tom Brady and the Patriots.
Is he the greatest or not? If you're the greatest, then the path should have been going through him.
It should also be noted, Peyton Manning.
Also, let's do this. Hall of Fame wide receiver.
Yes.
Hall of Fame running back.
Yes.
Hall of Fame defensive end.
Yes.
Was Peyton Manning an underachiever?
Oh.
Huh?
Didn't have this one on the scorecard.
I didn't either, but I'm just saying. Tom Brady was throwing to Julian Edelman. That's all I'm saying. Washed up Corey Dillon playing running back.
By the way, sorry, Jen. Jen's just catching shrapnel this morning because Peyton Manning's first Super Bowl victory came against the Bears.
I guess. He beat Rex Grossman.
Yeah, and Devin Hester and Brian Urlacher. I'm going back and looking at the Hall of Famers from this group. You're right, Hall of Famers from the Colts, Freeney, Marvin Harrison, and Peyton Manning.
Edgerrin James.
Not according to what I'm looking at here.
Edgerrin James is a Hall of Famer.
Ooh, Wikipedia needs to be updated.
I'm just letting you know.
Bears had Hester and Urlacher. Yeah, I don't know. How did we end up here?
We were talking about worst sports takes.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
To put a point on this, Peyton Manning was still way better than Ryan Leaf.
Yes.
Which was my original hot take, was that Ryan Leaf was going to be better. He was not.
A couple more coming in. Sam says Spencer goes to the Steelers, and I agree with you. J.J. McCarthy will not make it in the pros.
What's up with the J.J.? Why we don't like J.J.? I think J.J.'s pretty good.
I think he's a good college quarterback. I think I don't see him going.
Are y'all gonna make me
the Mac Jones comparison? I think Ray might have had a good one there with the Mac Jones comparison.
He was way better than Mac Jones.
Was he? Is he?
Yeah,
Has he been?
Yeah. Are y'all gonna make me put my cape on for J.J. McCarthy?
Yes, you're gonna have to.
I didn't see this coming, but it might happen.
You're gonna have to carry the water for J.J. McCarthy on that.
Hold on a second. Let's
start thinking about it. Consider it. Consider it. It's you've got time. You've got almost 2 months.
Okay.
2 months before the draft for you to.
Might have to go on J.J. McCarthy watch here.
803-404-6100. Let's get back out to the Love Chevy phone lines. Scott wants to weigh in. Scott, how you doing this morning? What's on your mind?
Good morning, y'all. I mean, I was thinking one thing, and y'all keep going down this rabbit hole, and it's probably the darkest day in my sports prediction career, where my brother has still never let me live down, saying that Ryan Leaf would be better than Peyton Manning in the pros, and it's definitely it scars that I hate to even go back and relive after watching that debacle. But I will say this: I was not ready to double down with anything Preston was saying with underachiever part, but I will say, the can't win the big game. I definitely was not thinking about doubling down after hearing that, but the underachiever part, and he did have Adrian James early. He was stacked. He had some of the best offensive linemen with Jeff Saturday and some of the others. So, you know what? I'm kind of liking the underachiever part that you threw out there, Preston, but I still don't know that I want to open the wounds that have healed but still scarred on the Ryan Leaf pick. But I do got a question about the Bears.
Okay.
The quarterback that they continue to say is what they need. I mean, and like I said, I'm just an outsider looking in, not a Bears fan. But I will say this. They've had two pretty solid quarterbacks there, and obviously they kept saying it was quarterback. But until they get an offensive line, until they get some talent to throw to, I don't care if you bring Tom Brady out of retirement, you're not winning at the Bears. So they can pick that quarterback first if they want to, but if they don't get a left tackle and a right tackle and a center and a couple pieces to throw to, the Bears are going to continue to plummet just like Detroit did for years and years.
You taking that?
Yeah, I agree with it, especially
disagree.
Especially when you look at who they are. Justin Fields and Caleb Williams, I don't see them as huge leadership type of guys, and so they're going to need to have a whole ecosystem around them to put that talent in place and everything set. And I don't see that with the Bears right now. So regardless of which way they go, I don't see it improving. And I agree with the caller.
Strong take.
Yeah.
We're getting them out there this morning.
Let's do it.
We're getting them out there. 803-404-6100. We'll stay on the Love Chevy phone lines when we come back. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen. It's the early game.
I-26 westbound at exit 91, disabled vehicle has the right exit ramp blocked, so caution there. Also, 378 before Congaree Road and Old Eastover Road, we do have a report of an accident. You'll also find one LeGrand Road near Barber Drive and Platte Springs Road at McLean Road. So an accident there as well. Be careful out there this morning. Looking for a high today of about 69, partly cloudy skies. 70 tomorrow with some morning showers. And then back for the weekend, looking like we'll be in the low to mid 60s. But we start into the 70s to start the work week. So good news there. But right now, we're sitting a little bit cooler. It's 36 on the early game.
Eight zero 6100. Coming up in the next segment, at the beginning of the next segment, we'll give away tickets to tomorrow's baseball game. We'll have 2 pairs of tickets to give away, so hang around for another 10, 15 minutes, and we'll give away 2 pairs of baseball tickets coming up in the next segment. So you can get your dialing fingers ready. We'll do that coming up in about 10 to 12 minutes. 803-404-6100. Let's go back out to the Love Chevy phone lines. Tom wants to weigh in this morning on Peyton Manning as we have gone down a rabbit hole a little bit. We asked the worst sports hot takes, and a couple of you, apparently this was a popular one, Preston. A couple people have weighed in. It was Ryan Leaf that taking Ryan Leaf over Peyton Manning, and Preston is now doubling down on that, and I think backtracking that on taking Peyton Manning because he's now saying that Peyton Manning was underachiever, and there's a couple people weighing in on that. We'll get to that. Let's get out to Tom on the Love Chevy phone lines. Tom, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. I just want to ask if Peyton Manning is an underachiever based on the rubric I think Preston is using, would you also put John Elway and Dan Marino in that same category? And Marino, I don't think won any Super Bowl, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Elway didn't win one until very late in his career. So I would think if you make that statement about Peyton Manning, you would have to make that about Elway and Marino, who are generally considered 2 of the top 5 or 10 quarterbacks in the history of the game. I'm just curious about that.
This is very good. I didn't know I was going to the barbershop this morning.
All right, let's go.
But first of all, in a draft, if we were just drafting them, I would absolutely take Dan Marino and John Elway above Peyton Manning, period, point blank. Now, with that being said, would not consider John Elway an underachiever because he went to several Super Bowls earlier, did not win them, but he went. Peyton Manning did not go except for the one that he won. Then on the backside of his career, John Elway did get the Super Bowls the same amount that Peyton Manning got. So I would not consider John Elway an underachiever. Dan Marino, there is conversation for you to consider him an underachiever, but he went early. And again, if I'm trying to bend and contort the argument to my direction, there's a big difference between throwing to Mark Clayton and Super Duper than having all of those Hall of Famers that Peyton Manning had around him. So I would still take Dan Marino and John Elway above Peyton Manning.
I think the Dan Marino, and I'm a huge Dan Marino fan. Again, that's how I kind of became a Dolphins fan, was because of a Dan Marino poster that I got at a book fair in like 5th grade. But yeah, I think it's a very strong argument that Dan Marino went to the Super Bowl in his second year, and never went back unless you count when he went back in Ace Ventura.
Great point. And this is another point I want to bring up. Dan Marino's acting chops way higher than Brady, than Peyton Manning.
Whoa.
Yes. Peyton Manning has a lot of shots at the board, but he will never do anything as consequential as Dan Marino in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. So that's another reason why he's better.
If we can save that hot take for later. That was a strong one. Couple texts coming in on the Firehouse Subs text line. Let's see. Let me go back and read, because a lot of these are backing up you on the on the Peyton Manning thing, and a lot of them are all of a sudden getting a lot of strange love to Eli Manning. Chris weighs at one Chris. One Chris says, don't forget another soon-to-be NFL Hall of Famer, Reggie Wayne, also a part of Dan Marino's posse. Another Chris, two Chris's. Another Chris says, which Manning was better? Eli beat Brady twice. Both have 2 Super Bowls.
It's a good question.
Charlie going with Eli. Overachieved. Less talent, just as many Super Bowls.
I mean, I'm just saying. I didn't know this is where we were going today, but here we are.
Preston is walking himself down a path, by the way. Marshall weighs in and says, if we're keeping score, I'm on Team Preston. I think J.J. McCarthy does well.
My guy.
For the record, I'm not even close to being a Michigan fan.
Me either. And I don't know what's happening here, but I'm starting to feel like I'm getting backed into a corner, and me and my guy J.J. McCarthy will come out swinging. I'm going to do a deep dive. You'll be hearing statistics. You'll be hearing numbers, combine numbers, IQs. I think J.J. McCarthy is becoming my guy.
Okay. Strong. There's a lot of strong takes going on this morning. I've given out a ranking of the top 7 quarterbacks as it pertains to how I think their careers will go. Preston has said that nothing Peyton Manning has done has lived up to anything comparable to Dan Marino's appearance in Ace Ventura.
The whole movie
Detective.
was about him. It was about him. He was. We don't even get this without Dan Marino.
Okay.
Peyton Manning's only been, he's been on a side character. He's cute.
Has he been in movies? Brett Favre made an appearance, obviously.
So yeah, that's why I was thinking quarterback rankings. I would put Dan Marino above Brett Favre, even though Brett Favre was iconic in Something About Mary. I would still put Dan Marino's performance a little bit ahead of that.
803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in if you want to weigh in on that. Also, we're taking your worst sports takes of all time. Obviously, there are plenty out there. We've all made a mistake a time or two. One of mine just recently was, again, the Bengals should take Chase Young over Joe Burrow. And I was pretty adamant about that, too. Patrick Perrett was not happy with me on that, but I was pretty adamant on that Joe Burrow was a byproduct of Joe Brady and some really good wide receivers at LSU. Like, those wide receivers were fantastic that year.
I would also like to say this. Joe Brady, you should send a tithe to Joe Burrow every single month. 10% of your checks, which keep coming to you for some reason. You haven't been successful since then, but 10% of your checks should go to Joe Burrow because it was actually the total opposite. Joe Brady's stock has risen because he was coaching Joe Burrow.
You're actually, that's one guy. If we talk about coaches, Jimbo Fisher thanking Jameis Winston for $75 million. Joe Brady, by the way, do you know where Joe Brady is now? Do you want to ballpark it?
No, I don't, actually. I don't know where he is.
He is in Buffalo. He will now be the offensive coordinator, the full-time offensive coordinator this coming season.
Okay, because they got rid of Ken Dorsey to go with him. Okay.
Yeah, so 803-404-6100. We'll get into what we kind of teased. Spring
I'm warmed up now.
football. Yeah, you're good and going.
Here come the real hot takes now.
We'll get to that. Spring football training is stupid. Yes. Preston Thorne elaborates when we come back. You're listening to the early game. Bill Gunner for the mortgage guru, Jacob Crowder with First Palmetto Bank. I tell you what, Jacob Crowder helped me just several years ago get me into a condo with a great interest rate. He can do the exact same for you now. First Palmetto Bank, owned and operated right here in the Midlands, giving Jacob Crowder decision makers, which means quick and precise underwriting. That's right, local decision makers helping you get quick and precise underwriting. So if you're looking to make a move today, if you're looking for a bigger house, maybe you're looking to downsize a little bit, contact the mortgage guru, 803-719-1005, or you can email him, the letter J, Crowder at firstpalmetto.com. Interest rates have stabilized, as well as the local housing market, and First Palmetto Bank has great options for first-time home buyers, or if you're looking to build a home, guess what? They've got great options for that as well. Learn all about them by calling the mortgage guru today, Jacob Crowder, 803-719-1005. He's the mortgage guru, Jacob Crowder with First Palmetto Bank.
Taking a peek at your traffic conditions out there this morning. We are looking at Kaiser Road at Magnolia Ridge Lane. Just an object on the roadway to watch out for. And that accident, Platte Springs Road at McLee Road. There's in kind of McLee, Kaiser Road area. And a disabled vehicle, I-26 westbound, exit 91. The right exit ramp is causing a little bit of a slowdown there. We're looking for high today of 68, 69 with some morning showers tomorrow, then 62, on Saturday, 58 on Sunday. But we get into the lower 70s to start the work week, so we will definitely welcome that. But it's a cooler start again, 36 on the early game.
Oh, the flames are just coming out of the studio this morning. Hot takes galore. Austin weighs in, says, I was sure Greg Oden was better than KD.
Yeah, a lot of people were.
Really?
Yeah. Who did he get drafted by? He got drafted number 1, didn't he?
Odin?
Yeah.
Yeah, by the Trailblazers.
Yeah, Portland was sure. A lot of people were sure. I don't know why, but they were sure. I mean,
Okay.
it was back to the time when a big man, and Kevin Durant's playing this whole game of like, I'm not actually 7 feet, I'm really 6'10", when we know you're 7 feet, but he doesn't want to play inside. We had never really seen anything like that before. And now KD, he's old now, but there was a moment where KD was impossible to stop.
He's still really, really tough to stop. I
Yeah.
mean, it was the 07 draft is where Odin was drafted, and I'll have to.
Plus, KD was he weighed like 120 pounds. He had a baggy jersey on. I could see how somebody would say, this is not going to work.
I'll admit, that's one that I felt pretty good
You're
about.
strong about that one?
Yeah, Kevin Durant, by the way, will be 36 this year. A couple more texts. He also, and it might be a little early to jump on this one. Austin says, I was also fairly certain Lamont Paris was the second coming of Darren Horn.
Ooh, thank you for admitting that. We appreciate that.
Yeah, that's all right. Derek weighs in. Preston is right. Peyton Manning is the second best quarterback in the family. He beat a quarterback led by the Bears team, and the backup was responsible for the chip in Denver, for the championship in Denver.
All I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
803-404-6100. Right now, I'll tell you, Jen, let's go ahead and give away these baseball tickets. We got 2 pairs of tickets for tomorrow's game against Belmont. First pitch, 4 o'clock over at Founders Park. We'll take callers 3 and 4. Callers 3 and 4 right now. 803-404-6100. You can win yourself a pair of tickets, get off work early, go enjoy some afternoon baseball at Founders Park. The Gamecocks and Belmont set to take place tomorrow. By the way, we'll have John Whittle on with us at about 8:30 tomorrow morning to break down the series and what he's seen so far. 803-404-6100 if you want a chance to win a pair of tickets to tomorrow's South Carolina Belmont baseball game. Preston Thorne, you saw something, likely on social media, that, well, your gears, they were grinded.
I'm not saying my gears were grinded, but can we stop with this? I mean, I know it's the spring. I know we're bored. We've been lifting weights for weeks on end. And it's like, let's take them out to Fort Jackson. Roll around in the dirt. And it's like, let's leave that for the people at Fort Jackson. If you don't know, Gamecocks football posted a video that happened at some point, heavily edited, I might add, because I know they were out there. And there's a lot of this. There's a minute's worth of video to showing the athletes and coaches, which I'll get to, by the way, training at Fort Jackson. I'm assuming they went through one of the courses at Fort Jackson. And, I mean, all right, Bill, this is where you might take a page from you where you might say, is this going to help us win any games? I don't know. We've been doing this for a while now. What are we doing? What are we
Well, you're
doing?
the football player. You tell me.
I don't know.
What did y'all? All right, hold on.
I don't know
Supposedly,
why we do this.
I say supposedly because I've just never done it, so I can't definitively go, oh yeah, this is what we're doing.
I would like you to pull this up and watch this as we're having this conversation, just so maybe your blood could get boiling too. Gamecocks football.
Well, hold on, but to go back, it is our understanding, correct? It is our understanding, or my understanding. You were the football player. You are the football player. That this is done more so as a team-building exercise, correct? Just yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. I want to go back for a second to Preston's days of football. What were considered or what was done for team building? Was it just run until everybody throws up and you're all together in this agony? What was team building for Preston Thorne?
First off, there's team building. It's like forced fun at your job. It's like, we're going to go build teams together. It doesn't work. You know when teams get built? Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, in the room, on the town. That's when real team building actually happens. That's the one where they were playing wiffle ball. But the real team building happens when we can just hang out together and just be around each other. But forced fun of we're going to go to an obstacle course, roll around in the mud, cosplay as soldiers. It's like, man, and then here's the thing. Shane, you got a little bit of look at me Louie here. All this whole video is about you doing the course, which I would like to say that if the coach can do the course, maybe the course ain't that tough. This is what I want to say. If the head coach and Sean Elliott, I'm looking at you too, you did it in jeans. I don't know what that was about. But if y'all are doing the courses and the players are struggling with the courses, we might have some issues here. So I have a lot of things to say about this, one of which is, all right, cool, I hope this helps in spring.
So you're just not buying it?
No, I'm not buying it, man. I will say this again. If the coach can do it, then it's not that tough.
Yeah, Sean Elliott, I just saw him in the Sean Elliott. I mean, you know what you're going to, right? You know what you're going to. And Sean Elliott is in jeans and a
white polo.
And a white polo.
Yeah,
white polo. You know what you're going to.
Yeah. Also in this video, Shane said he made a call out where he was asking for staff members. And if you break down the video, Sean Elliott, and then it's the rest of the strength staff. So I don't know if any other coaches was like, nah, not today. I'm not doing it. It's okay, I guess. But can we just go in the weight room and power clean?
I feel like you're slightly coming to my side on the.
This might have brought me to your side.
I just want to see victories. As we get closer to the start of spring practice, and we get a few of the interviews, and we hear the coaches, we'll get the assistant coaches. I think they break down about every week, and we'll get all the position coaches. You'll hear from Torian Gray. You'll hear from Lonnie Teasley. You'll hear from the guys that you don't typically hear from. There's nothing that they're going to say that I'm going to be like, oh yeah, I feel good now.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be that person this spring that's like, oh, Lenore Sellers was great today. Great.
Show me.
Secondary stunk then is what you're telling me. Oh, Lenore Sellers ran for 300 yards in the script and nobody can stop him. It's great. Tackling sounds awful. Sounds like I'm sorry. I'm going to be that person this spring where it's just it goes back to what you said. I think when we were doing fall camp, preseason camp, and you were like, well, someone did good. It typically doesn't mean someone else did well. This is not. It doesn't work that way.
I get it. It's cool. It's good for the visual. Again, I will say this. This is a lot of Shane Beamer in this video. He's screaming. He's crawling through the mud, which is fine. But I will repeat this. If the head coach can do the workout and the players are doing the same workout, I'm not sure what's the rigorousness.
I'm under the impression you're not doing this for the actual workout.
What are we doing then?
I don't know. You're the football player.
I don't know. And this is the goal. I mean, because they have another video where they're playing wiffle ball, and then they had a basketball tournament. And it's like, man, can I just go home? Do we have to do all of this? Why is this what we have to do to bond with each other?
Dane weighs in. Go to at Gamecock FB on Twitter. Gamecock Football on Twitter is how you can find it, at Gamecock FB, and you can see it was posted about 17 hours ago. Mm-hmm. Steve is going to push back on a little bit on you. He says, I disagree with Preston. I thought the course would be a nice change up to the normal workouts during the early spring. The players look like they had a lot of fun doing it.
Heavily edited.
That's all that matters.
Why do they need to have fun? What is fun in this equation? You got to go in the weight room and lift weights. What does fun have to do? I don't care if the players are having fun.
You're drawing it now. Preston is just being a hater. Let's see here. What else we got? Will weighs in, coming from someone that has done the course, and it wasn't for fun. It's not easy.
Okay. All right. Does that go to help him play football? I mean, cool.
I don't. I mean, again, I there is a part of this that I'll say, I don't want the workouts to be fun.
That's what I'm saying. So, man, we're playing wiffle ball. We're running. We're rolling around in the mud. We have a basketball tournaments going on. All right. That's cool. I don't know if fun has to be part of the equation here.
We'll get to more of these text messages, 803-404.
Firing them off.
6100. Yeah, Preston.
And shout out to all our people at Fort Jackson. We appreciate your real service, not people that can come in and just roll around for a little while. Appreciate the real
You think that
soldiers.
angers them that people just come in and be like, yeah, that's no problem.
I mean, you know.
803-404. 6100. We roll along here. More interesting hot takes. Patrick says, will it teach blocking?
I mean, they were rolling in the mud.
There you go. 803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game. Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing. For nearly 30 years, Larry Leitner and his team, well, they have been the leader in the commercial roofing industry. They do it with roofing and waterproofing and making sure your business or your house is working properly and not allowing a leak. So right now, contact Mid-State Roofing. They're 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week call center. That's right. You can give them a phone call, and you know what? You're going to speak with someone. Doesn't matter if it's at midnight, 6 a.m., or at noon, you will get a trained technician on the line. 803-356-1919. Again, it's 803-356-1919. They will remind you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. So don't wait a day longer. Go ahead. Call Mid-State Roofing today. 803-356-1919. For more information, you can visit them online at midstateroofing.com. Again, it's 803-356-1919. If you've got a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek. 7:48 as we roll along here on your Thursday morning, a Thursday morning just filled with extreme hot takes. I really feel like I may have to go back and make a highlight video of this between my ranking of, to figure out which hot take is the strongest right now. Preston has come up with Peyton Manning is a underachiever in football. Made a pretty strong argument too.
Also, Dan Marino's a better actor. Has a better.
Yeah, well, I was going to the strongest one is Dan Marino and Ace Ventura is better than any acting that Peyton Manning has done. Although, see, I push back a little bit on that because of Peyton Manning's Saturday Night Live skits. Very, very good talent there. But that was a strong one. I've had a ranking out there. Preston earlier gave the Mel Kiper breakdown of the top 7 quarterbacks right now for the draft. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix, Spencer Rattler. The first strong take that came out of that is I think many of you are with me. We don't believe J.J. McCarthy will be a quality or solid NFL quarterback. Maybe he'll max out at about 12 to 14 starts for his career. Maybe be a solid backup, kind of maybe be an A.J. McCarron. Just kind of hanging around. I'll have to go back and look and see how many starts A.J. McCarron has made in his career, but we've had that. And now Preston has gone in very strongly on the team-building exercises. And I got to admit, some of the responses on this have been really interesting because, again, I just come back to I really don't care what you do in the offseason anymore. I just want to see you win football games. My buddy Steve, who texts in every morning, is constantly talking about overhyping guys and we build up guys too much. And look, I'm as guilty of it with Lenore Sellers over the last 8 months as anybody. I take all the blame. I'll take a vast majority of the blame. Maybe not all of the blame, but I take the vast majority of the blame. But now I don't look. You know what's fun? Winning is fun. You know what brings a team together? Winning, right? Win football games.
Winning helps.
That's kind of what I'm asking in this scenario because Alan weighed in, and Alan said, wait, so if the defense or offense dominates, it's bad. And if they play at a stalemate, it's bad. What do you guys want? And I answered Alan on our text line. I want 8 wins. That's what I want. I don't care, and I don't want to hear it. And it's kind of why, and now I think you joined me this morning on my bandwagon of social media is great, and I love it, and I enjoyed the Full House, and I enjoyed the Office, Shane Beamer running fast past the stop, the speed sign. I've enjoyed all that. I enjoy watching them win too, and so I didn't want to see a whole lot of videos this offseason.
I like the personality and the Full House and all that. I'm more specifically saying that spring training for football is stupid, and this is probably across the board. I'm sure if I was tuned into football programs across the country, they'd be doing something similarly as useless as this.
Yeah. Just win. Chris weighs in. What if the Chargers? This is actually interesting. What if the Chargers pick up J.J. McCarthy? But that would mean that what was the wording that Harbaugh used when he met? He was starstruck. What was the exact wording when he met? Justin Herbert.
He used very colorful language and very flowery language. Yeah, that would mean things are going very bad for the Chargers if J.J. McCarthy trots out there for them.
Larry in Kansas weighs in and says, Preston, there's no I in the word team. Lou Holtz had his team in the offseason participate in charity car washes. I get what Coach Beamer is doing.
I played for Lou Holtz. Let me tell you what Lou Holtz had us do in the spring season. Maybe this is why there's the genesis of this whole opinion. Lou Holtz had us one time because he thought we were not tough enough. You guys are not tough enough. And so what we did was we went to the bubble, and we played softball, Bill, in the bubble, except we didn't have it on any gloves. A real live softball, real live metal bats, no gloves. Dudes was smashing the ball at each other. People are getting hurt. Balls are hitting off people's hands. When people decided to not field any ground balls, because I don't know, you might break your hand, he called us up and said, you guys not tough. You guys are not tough, and that's why we're not going to win this year. So, yes, this might be the whole point of what I'm saying. None of it had anything to do with.
Just for the record, what year was that, and did y'all win?
We didn't win that year. That was the year we went. That was the
5 and 7.
02. Yeah, one of the 5 and 7 campaigns. Yes, that was
Hard
that
for me
might
to
be the
argue with
genesis
him right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Might be the genesis. We weren't tough. You're right, Luden. We did not want to field ground balls with no gloves on.
One more quick hot take from you. Trey says Nick Saban was a big advocate in team building exercises along with mental health exercises. It seems like he was pretty successful. Let me go back to that something real quick. In all seriousness, football in a locker room, 85 guys, different personalities, different egos, the puppy offensive linemen, the diva wide receivers. What is, in your opinion, team building in football?
We have to separate this. Team building is one thing. Mental health exercises are another thing. Mental health exercises, great. Team building, great. Do we get to know each other? Let's just sit around and have a conversation with each other. Maybe we can go out to lunch. It's just like your office. Anytime your office mandates that we're going to do team building in the office. How do you feel about that? You know when team building really happens? When we're sitting around playing video games, or when we're in our apartments and maybe we're sharing a few beverages with each other and we're really actually getting to know each other. That's real team building. We don't need the coaches to build our team. If the coaches have to come around.
Does it happen or not? Like you said, I see where you're going. I'm going to ask you, does it happen or it happens organically, not
forced fun. We don't need it. I don't need you to put together a basketball tournament for us to play basketball. We can just go play basketball. It's just like your office.
Or wiffle ball.
Or wiffle ball.
Or softball.
Hey, guys, we're getting together. Everybody's mandatory to be there after work. You got to come. It's going to be a lot of fun. How do you feel when you go to that activity? You hate it. Just like these guys.
803-404-6100. We got a whole nother hour. Josh Harris from Darlington up as well. This is the early game.
Flamethrowers.
Forest Drive near Percival Road, we do have a report of an accident there, so be careful. Platte Springs Road at McLeay Road, and it's looking like still a little bit of a slowdown there on that exit ramp at I-26 westbound at exit 91. But our forecast looking very nice. Going to be mixed clouds and sun today, 68 for the high, 69 tomorrow with just maybe some morning showers. And then for the weekend, 62 on Saturday, 58 on Sunday. But we dip back into the 70s to start the work week, so we will welcome that for sure. But right now, again, a morning where you need your jacket at least to start the day. It is 36 on the early game.
$8 a.m. as we get you up and get you going here this morning. Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen. It's just been one scalding hot take after another. And Jay weighs in and might have the best hot take of all. What I'm hearing is that Preston will not be attending any office activities that Terry Ford might put together. That's a thumbs up. It was a thumbs up.
No comment.
Yes, that was just a thumbs up for those of you that are watching or absorbing us this morning via our live streams, where you can always go to the Game TV on YouTube. You can go to the Game TV, or you can search the early game and follow us there on either one of those and watch along. We have at the early game, we have also a chat room that you can be a part of. Maria, Ray, Travis, Jacob, Hope, VK, all in there and having a good time this morning as they cut up and laugh. 803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in if you want to do so. Maria, by the way, saying Preston doing his best Skip Bayless this morning.
Channeling Skip this morning.
You've had some strong takes this morning as it pertains to Dan Marino, to Peyton Manning, to team building, I guess.
Also, never forget Dan Marino in the Nutrisystem commercials. How he demonstrated his weight loss. Very profound.
Yeah, Isotoner. He did do the Isotoners. Yes.
Come on, man. Come on.
He was quite the pitch man as well. 803-404.
So was O.J. Simpson, but.
Ooh. And now we've gone down another path. 803-404-6100, how you can weigh in this morning. One thing that you've had the last few days that let's get to real quick is on our little sheet that we kind of put out that we try to get to every morning. Money, Steve Sarkisian and Sean Elliott. I'm throwing this at you now because I don't want to. We got Josh Harris coming up here at 8:30 this morning. We'll have two kind of quicker segments to get to Mr. Harris and break down our Darlington, or break down our picks for Atlanta this weekend with our Darlington Raceway president, Josh Harris. But you've had this on here. I've noticed it. Where are we going with this?
Well, I mean, we just all have to come to the conclusion and understand that this is no longer the quaint little baby that we used to think of as college football. I think we say that it's a multi-million-dollar business, but in actuality, it's a multi-billion-dollar business. The college football playoffs have been expanded. Contracts
they can't even be expanded officially without trying to expand them again.
Right. They're already trying to build the road. They built the road, and now they got to build it again. They're talking about going to 14 teams in 2026, and so we have to adjust our sensibilities because Steve Sarkisian just recently re-signed a contract that's going to be worth $10 million per year. Now, here's where I get really, I don't know if, it's just interesting to me. $10 million per year, which whatever, if that's what the market dictates, fine. But my question is, does the market dictate that? Because last year he was getting 5.6, and then all of a sudden they just said, let's add another $4.4 million on it and make it an even 10 for the next contract extension. And so over the next 7 years, he'll be making $74.2 million. That is more power to him. But that is a lot of money. And so when we talk about all of this money coming in, at the top of the let's call it the org chart, if you were to say, very top heavy. CEO making all of this money. Companies making all this money. U.S. institutions making all this money. And yet we're still fighting to figure out how we do not get into a conversation with revenue sharing with the players who are producing a lot of the revenue for these things to be happening. Yes, we have the conversation of NIL, but that is not the same thing as revenue sharing in the multi-billion dollars that are going to be moving in. And I got to be honest, when you look at the recent hiring of Sean Elliott's going to be making a lot of money. I understand that he took this job for his family and he's moving back to Columbia, and that's great. But Sean Elliott did not take a haircut when he was coming back here to do a job with less responsibility, less duties. He's coaching one position on the field and making an exorbitant amount of money. He's able to make that exorbitant amount of money because they're bringing this much money in. That money should probably be distributed amongst more of the peoples in their organizations.
By organizations, are you defining athletic department or are you defining football complex?
Football complex. And why do I say football complex? Because there's so many other people that make up this thing, whether you're talking about video coordinators. We just talked about, and I was joking last segment, but that takes people to go out there, film the video, cut the video, edit the videos. They should be sharing in this too. There's secretaries over in the building. There's people that are cleaning the building. There's chefs. All of these people who are getting paid salaries, but they don't commiserate with the amount of money that many of these people are making. And when you go through the South Carolina staff, as far as the money that they're making, Clayton White, 1.2. Dow Loggins, $1 million. Joe DeCamillis, special teams coordinator, $800,000. Sean Elliott, $750,000 annually, 3-year contract. James Cooley, $750,000 average to coach wide receivers. We've seen an exponential amount of influx of capital into college football, and that money probably can go to provide for the players that are participating in this with the coaches. And so I just think it's interesting that whenever we start getting on the train of, it's all about money now, it's no loyalty, we just got to really look at these salaries. That is an exorbitant amount of money that we're paying these coaches. And I'm not sure whether there's a market for it or what the market dictates. I just think it's very interesting.
The part of that is you wonder if it is a bubble that will pop, but I just don't sense it. I don't sense that you have some kind of bubble that is going to pop on coaches' salaries. I did think that. There was a time I thought that, but I actually think with the consolidation of college football more so. I mean, that is what we're seeing. It's not realignment. It's a consolidation of teams that are both financially, but also because of the conferences, those teams are going to be able to compete at the highest level. I do wonder if there is a point where you see a Vanderbilt or a Rutgers, or maybe Rutgers is a bad example, but you see programs that aren't upholding their weight if you see them shifted out. I do wonder about that. Now, obviously, we were talking about at the very beginning of the program, the way South Carolina baseball, it's been a great month for South Carolina. February's been a great month. I know you had the 2 losses in basketball, but it's been a great month for men's basketball. It's been a great month for women's basketball. It's been a great month for softball. It's been a great month for tennis. It's been a great month, again, across the board. There was a 5th one that I just blanked on. I think I might have not said baseball or football. I mean, even football has had a good month in terms of, I think, creating some energy and excitement, legitimate energy and excitement, not Twitter videos. But the point being is, what can you do with that money? You're right. Without this money, and that's why I've said I don't believe, going back to this, what you're talking about, the money, even if Clemson and Florida State and North Carolina, they stayed in the ACC, North Carolina might be the caveat to that because I feel like North Carolina would rather spend money on basketball than football. But you're not going to see Clemson fall behind just because they're not making enough money in football. For all of you out there who are like, I've seen enough of Brad Burnell, that's where Clemson could fall behind because every dime that Clemson gets is going to be put into renovations for Memorial Stadium. It's going to be put into money for coaches. It's going to be put into money to benefit players.
Which, by the way, Clemson is paying their defensive line coach, Chris Rumph, shout out to you, respect, but a defensive line coach, over $1 million? What are we doing?
Yeah, Clemson's taking a back seat tonight. Neither is Florida State. Where those programs get hurt with this money that is coming in, I know the SEC, I think, just gave out a check for $51.8 million, I believe is what it was, is South Carolina can pay their football coaches and facilities and all that, but then they can turn around and if they want to give Bev Smith, the softball coach, a raise, that's going to be no problem. Few schools are going to be able to outpay the SEC when it comes to these other sports, softball and basketball included. Ohio State, how do you think Ohio State's about to pay this buyout for Chris Holtmann? The Big Ten is raking in money left and right. If Chris Holtmann was probably in the Big 12 or definitely in the what we now know as the Pac-12 or what we used to know, if he was in AC, he probably gets another year because Ohio State has extra money left over. It's interesting to see where everything's going and how it's working out.
I say all that to say for $750,000, Sean Elliott, I too would put on a white shirt and jeans and roll through the mud. I'd have no problem with that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Any staff?
Yes. Is that?
I'm here.
I'm with you.
And he's not even doing the laundry, so he doesn't care.
$750 million. He had a new pair of jeans and a white shirt in his office, courtesy of one of the assistants that didn't go.
Do I have any staff members? Yes.
All he did was send a text before he left. Size 34, length 32 or 34, whatever, and a large polo in the office when I get back.
Sign me up.
There you go. 803-404-6100. That's how you can weigh in if you want to do so this morning. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Sheehan Jensen. It's the early game.
Preston here. Let me tell you about my friends at Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. So if your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked, or broken, they can handle the job. If it's a cracked windshield, that's no problem. They'll come out to you and replace it for you. Wherever you are, whether you're at school, whether you're at work, whether you're at home, it doesn't matter. They will come out to you and replace it for you, usually for free, and they'll work directly with the insurance company to take away the headache. So also, if you're looking to increase the value of your home with new windows or mirrors, Absolute Glass will come out and take care of that for you too. Windows, mirrors, shower enclosures. I say all the time, if you can see through it, Ray and Marianne at Absolute Glass can do it. So check them out online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com. That's online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
Forest Drive near Percival Road, there is a report of an accident. Also find one Highway 60 at St. Andrews Road and I-26 eastbound at exit 106. That would be St. Andrews Road, an accident there. The earlier tie-up on the ramp at exit 91 that has been cleared, so if it is a little bit slow yet, it won't be for long. And we're loving the forecast. Looking pretty good. 68 for the high today. Could see a couple showers early tomorrow. 69 for that high. On Saturday, 62, 58 on Sunday, and then we dip into the 70s for a few days, and that we will welcome. But you do need that jacket this morning, a little chilly. 36 on the early game.
(8:18) as we get you ready. Just about 12 minutes away, we'll be joined by Darlington Raceway President Josh Harris as he will try and rebound Preston Thorne from a poor showing in the first week of the Corley Pool Solutions Checkered Flag Challenge here. He took Brad Keselowski with the first pick last week. He got 1 point. He is in dead last. Just one weekend. I was humbled a little last year by having a big lead about midway through the summer and was cruising right along to a second Corley Pool Solutions Checkered Flag Challenge Championship. Say that several times. And all of a sudden, Reggie Anderson came out of nowhere. So we'll make week 2 picks coming up here in about 20 minutes as the boys head to Atlanta for the weekend. 3 o'clock Fox is how you can watch that on Sunday. 803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in. A couple people have asked. I've gotten a text message this morning, and we will address this more tomorrow. It'll be not maybe the massive part of the show tomorrow, but we will address it. We are aware Lexington and Somerville tomorrow night in Florence, lower state championship. Are you rolling your head because are you about to play?
As one, baby. Ville mentality.
What was that?
Getting ready. Got to go put my old green and gold out.
We've got a text in here. What is the wager on the Lexington-Somerville basketball game for the loser? We'll figure that, maybe just bring out the wheel of misfortune. But, yes, Lexington, the number 1 ranked team in 5A. Somerville, the number 2 ranked team in 5A, will meet with a spot to play at Colonial Life Arena coming up in about a week and a half, I believe. I guess is about what you would label it for the state championship. So we will address it tomorrow. We will have Jen come in here and stand between us so we don't start slap boxing or doing whatever it is and Preston beats me up. But we will.
Yeah, no, see, that I will not get in the middle of.
Oh, of course.
Just saying.
Now, to be clear, is Lexington blue and yellow or gold?
Gold, man.
Okay.
Gold.
All right. I'm just checking.
We get gold.
I was just checking.
Blue and gold. I wonder if I can get my old Lexington jersey back from Bailey Harris to wear in here tomorrow.
You really?
Do you doubt I would do it?
No, I don't doubt you would do it, but would you try to wear it?
Why not?
I hear a challenge.
I wonder where those jerseys are. Like back when I was still coaching there, I know we had like an equipment room, so to speak, but it had like all I'm guessing they didn't donate them anywhere, and I'm assuming they didn't throw them away. I would assume 23 years later, old 13 is still hanging around in one of the equipment rooms somewhere.
They said, well, we got to save this one.
Highly unlikely Dustin Curtis
Waterboy, we got to save his uniform.
It's very likely Dustin Curtis is not doing anything constructive at the moment. Athletic director, football coach over Lexington. Dustin, get down to the equipment room and find me number 13 to wear in here tomorrow.
Shout out to my guy, Dustin. You know you're my guy, but not for the next 48 hours approximately. 72 hours.
I will lift my feelings for this particular basketball for Lexington to win a state championship, although I do enjoy being the last state champion from Lexington. There is an element of walking around Lexington feeling proud about that accomplishment.
I will say this. When Somerville came up here to play White Knoll and they lost on Thanksgiving, I was like,
are you the last state champion?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. So, but being a proud alumni, proud graduate, luckily, so we'll get into that. We'll get into that tomorrow a little bit. Preston and I we'll get into that. Also tomorrow we'll cut up a little bit about EA Sports College Football Game. They've put out some videos. Speaking of videos, they've put out some videos lately on EA Sports College Football Game. I'm seeing a lot of back and forth on this, with people being excited but then being disappointed on the college football game that it's going to run off of the John Madden engine, the whatever they use, the gameplay for that.
Yeah, I'm not that much into gaming, but that is a frequent complaint that I've heard, and there was a distinction between those two games.
I do wonder how many people our age, roughly our age, four-year maybe window from like 37 to about 45, we all really came. I mean, I had on, I believe, Sega Genesis, I had Bill Walsh College Football.
I did too.
And so I wonder how many people our age who haven't bought a video game in years are like, no, son, daughter, whomever, I'll buy the video game for us. You don't need to use your own money for this.
Yeah, and you're going to be in for a rude shock because if you haven't played video games since 2014 or whenever, there's been advancements.
Yeah.
Can't just hit the B button anymore.
No.
There's going to be a lot of things happening.
Yeah, you might want to sneak out the PlayStation 5 or Xbox late at night and get you just an older copy of Madden, like the $20 copy, and just start playing a little bit so you're ready to go, so that, as we used to say roughly 20 years ago, you can make your child put down the sticks.
Put the sticks down.
Now you can skunk them. Yep. Mercy rule, run, touchdown rule, whatever it may be. 803-404-6100. Again, tonight, South Carolina basketball taking on Alabama at the Colonial Life Arena. And I want to go back to this real quick just to make sure. But you can see this on, we mentioned Gamecock football, but last night Gamecock women's basketball putting out a tweet. It is the teddy bear toss game tonight. So you take a teddy bear. The rules are it must be new or gently used. A bit of a donation here. Must be new or gently used. No battery packs. Please do not take somebody out, throwing them on, or take out, injure the bear. And bears must be removed from their box. So if you take a bear tonight, you can toss it on the court during the game. Not during the game, I should say. You don't need a bunch of y'all.
Let's not be doing that now.
I don't need a bunch of unruly fans out there. But you get the point. Tonight is the teddy bear toss. For more information, you can go on Twitter at GamecockWBB, to get more information on that. But it is the teddy bear toss tonight, where you can go and donate basically a teddy bear. I'm looking at the video right now of a couple of the players holding a little stuffed cocky. Looks like it has sunglasses on it.
Yeah, it's annually one of my favorite events. It's always cool to see the picture, the aftermath of all the
Is it not? Oh, my gosh.
It's always really, really awesome. I'm not aware that they do this anywhere else in the country, but it's one of the, amongst others. I don't know if you saw the video. Speaking of videos, you saw Dawn Staley on Green Street yesterday, giving out posters, talking to the students, taking pictures, and we talked about the idea of cultivating. This is another event where I always just love seeing these pictures of the aftermath of all the teddy bears on the court.
So, again, you can go and check that out tonight. 7 o'clock, again, tip-off over at Colonial Life Arena. Gamecocks look to go 26-0 on the season. 803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in on anything this morning. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines real quick. Ray wants to weigh in. Ray, how you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning, Jen. Good morning, Preston. Good morning, Bill. Yeah, I just want to weigh in. I do agree with Preston. I do think somehow the schools, it's got to be more equitable. And, I mean, for the players, talking about football, I think the schools got to pay a little more, because not everybody's signing $1 million, NIL deal or whatever. So I do believe in equitability there. But just to tell you, like these coaches, these assistant coaches are getting, just large salaries, which, hey, if you want to pay me that, that's fine. But something else they get as well, and I know this for a fact, they get cars. They're provided cars. And these just aren't cars you go out on the lot and get. These are high-end custom cars that have to be ordered. So think about that as well. So these coaches are driving cars in excess of 100K as well on top of their salaries. And when I hear my friends, some of my friends will say, well, you know, these athletes, they're getting a college education. And you know what I say? I say, well, that's nice. That's very nice. But let me just give you an example. When I was in school and I was taking Speech 101 and I was doing impromptu speech, my audience was my classmates. My audience wasn't 75,000 people who were paying $100 a ticket, not considering all the ancillary expenses, you know, like parking and sessions and stuff like that. So no, there's a whole lot of money that's being generated by these football players. So yeah, you got to be a little more equitable. I mean, you don't give away the farm, but you know, you got to make things equitable, and that's kind of the word. But hey, guys, thanks for letting me chime in.
Appreciate it, Ray. And I, you know, like I said, I agree with that. And I will say that our admin, Ray Tanner, Chance Miller, and staff have always been on the cutting edge of trying to provide our athletes with every benefit that they can have within the silly rules of the NCAA. So our admin has always tried to do as much as they could in that realm for our athletes. But to your point, Ray, Steve Sarkisian, two of his perks, along with his $10 million salary, are 2 new cars, a country club membership, and 20 hours of private jet use and tickets to all Texas events. Now, that 20 hours of private jet use is not for recruiting because we already have that. That's his own private jet use that he can use. So, again, and I want to be very clear. If that's what we want to pay him and he commands that and everybody agrees to it, awesome. Let's just figure out what else we can do with some of that money where the people who are not being compensated.
803-404-6100. We'll discuss that a little bit more tomorrow as well. Up next, Josh Harris, Darlington Raceway president, joins us as we make our picks. The Corley Pool Solutions Checkered Flag Challenge. Up next. It's the month of love, February, but it's also the month of love at Love Chevrolet. It's in with the new. That's right. Tahoes, Suburbans, Camaros, even the red-hot Silverado. And with 14 acres of brand-new Chevys, you're going to find your favorite color and trim. They're there. They're at Love Chevrolet now, and they're ready for you to drive home today. Visit Love Chevrolet, I-26 in Harbison, between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park, because right now you are guaranteed your great selection and incredible savings. Love Chevrolet will beat any competitor's price. You've heard me talk about it, the $1,000 low price guarantee. And you know what? If you've bought anywhere else, you know what it feels like to be taken advantage of. But at Love Chevrolet, they don't do that. Again, they sell below MSRP. They offer you the $1,000 low price guarantee. And again, they offer you 14 acres of brand new Chevys. That's what makes car buying fun. All the great deals, all the selections. So visit Love Chevrolet today, and together, let's drive.
And 2 accidents to remind you about: Shakespeare Road near Roof and Two Notch Road near Wire Road. And your forecast for today, we're looking for a high of 69 with some clouds rolling in. That'll lend itself to some showers tomorrow morning. 70 will be the high, overnight low of 41. We hit 62 for Saturday and dropping down actually to 58 on Sunday before we get back into the 70s for the beginning of the work week. But right now it's 36 on the early game.
Eight zero 404-6100 if you hear anything you want to weigh in on this morning. But we get you ready now for NASCAR this coming weekend. They head away from Daytona, a rec field Daytona, and they head to the Ambetter Health 400 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And joining us now, as he will each and every Thursday, at least he is called back in after a poor showing last week, Josh Harris, Darlington Raceway president. Number one, what was the Valentine's plan since you were down there in Drive? We asked you about that last week. Your Valentine's plan since you were away from home.
Well, I talked to the kids. They treated Mom well that Wednesday, and when I got back to town from Daytona on Tuesday about midday, I decided to grill some steaks for the family and then picked up some flowers for Mom. So all is well in the Harris household.
Excellent work. Grilling steaks.
Nicely done.
Run the play. Great job,
Run the
sir.
play. And not only that, but you also, you fit right in with this show on the grilling. So we will have more discussion about that later on as we go through the year. But your take, you were down there. Obviously, a lot of rain on Sunday. It was a little chilly on Monday, but ended up being a fantastic race for everybody to enjoy.
Yeah, certainly, the weather was disappointing. There was a lot of buildup, a lot of momentum for the Daytona 500 on Sunday, and Mother Nature just didn't cooperate. But, you never want to push a race to Monday, but what a great day it turned out to be from a weather standpoint. We had a little bit of early rain, but by about 10 a.m., sun was out. I've got the red face to prove it after being outside for most of the day. And yeah, the race itself I thought was pretty competitive all throughout. It's interesting when you're there watching live, you don't have as much of the information maybe that the TV broadcast has in terms of how the guys are driving, the strategy with fuel savings, things like that. Watching it in person, those guys were racing hard and 2 wide, 3 wide at times. Thought it was a really good race. Obviously a couple of accidents there towards the end that changed the outcome, especially for me. But overall, I think it was a great day, and then followed up, a true doubleheader with the Xfinity Series running Monday night.
Are you one who goes to the track and you have the headphones on and you're listening to the scanner, going to different, listening to different pit boxes and things like that, or listen to the announcements overall in the stadium, or are you just watching it to watch it?
Well, for that one in particular, it was more, I was watching it. I put in my AirPods and listened to the MRN broadcast while watching it, so you get a little bit of the color. But I didn't have the full Racing Electronics headset to listen. Most of the time when I'm there working, it's on a radio listening to kind of all the things going on from a facility standpoint. But this one, I kind of set that aside and was a fan for a couple hours.
Yeah, that's fun. Because it is kind of fun to listen to, just to tune in to different teams, or to listen to more of what's going on as far as safety and all, just so many different things that you can be nosy and listen to on the different scanners and stuff like that. So wasn't sure which direction you go on during your race day.
Yeah, it's certainly a behind-the-scenes look that you don't get to have in many other sports. Can you imagine being able to listen in to Bill Belichick calling in plays to Tom Brady a couple of years ago? I mean, that'd be pretty cool.
Exactly. I would have loved to have known what his fuel strategy was. Tom Brady. Mm-hmm.
Josh Harris joining us, Darlington Raceway president. Just things you were looking for. We kind of asked you about this last week, but things that you were looking for, things that just caught your attention last week as you got to see the guys back on the race, first time here in 2024. Anything that really stood out to you that maybe you didn't anticipate?
Well, I think one of the questions going into the week was how would Hendrick Motorsports, would they go after the pole? I think leading into this past weekend, it was 7 consecutive front row starts for Hendrick Motorsports. So seeing the Fords kind of come out in qualifying and take those front 2 spots was interesting. I think the Toyotas showed really well in the dual races on Thursday. And then, what do you have is 2 Hendrick Motorsports, cars finishing 1-2. So I thought it was a little bit interesting from that standpoint with the new bodies of the Toyota and the Fords, a lot of talk about how they would race. And then ultimately you end up with a Chevrolet in victory lane. So I think it creates some interesting storylines to start off the year and heading into Atlanta.
And I thought one thing that was kind of interesting was the teams that ended up in the top 10. You have, Joe Gibbs, but you have Spire, you have 2311. Colleague Racing was in the top 10. Legacy Motor Club, they had their 2, except for Jimmy Johnson, but their other 2 finished within the top 10. And we actually saw Stuart Haas, which I thought was really kind of exciting because I know that there's just been concern about their team for quite a while. And kind of the edict was put down this year by Tony Stewart to say, hey, we need performance or we're making a big shift in the team itself. So I thought it was kind of fun to see the top 10 being, maybe some smaller teams.
I got a question.
Yeah, it's what you sometimes get at Daytona, Talladega, and now even Atlanta. So watching through the middle back third of that race, you had A.J. Allmendinger leading at times. You had Corey LaJoie leading at times, and both of them ended up with top 10 finishes, as you mentioned. So it was intriguing to see some of those teams get up there and mix it up and have good finishes.
Yeah, survival of the fittest. Go ahead.
First off, thank you for pronouncing Corey LaJoie because I had only read that and I was really struggling on how to pronounce that. 1. 2, as racing fans, as you were watching the race, what's your feelings when you see a big wreck towards the end of the race? Do you feel as if you got cheated, or is that just accepted as part of the race? How do you all go about processing that?
Well, I think especially at the drafting tracks, so Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta, I think that there's always that chance of it happening. And as it gets closer and closer to the end of that race, everybody's, no one's laying back at that point. They're all being aggressive, trying to fight their way to the front. And for the Daytona 500, you're not going to have a lot of guys lift. So you put yourself in the best position possible. It takes a lot of skill, but you also know there is a little bit of some of it's out of your hands, so to speak. And so, I thought, my pick last week, Brad Keselowski, he dropped to the back, drove all the way to the front, was in position looking good, and then ultimately, was part of one of those crashes. So first and foremost, you want to see those guys get out. Safety is first and foremost, and thankfully we had no incidents there. But it is kind of part of it that's accepted. And then I think as we get into the season at some of your other tracks, your short tracks, your mile and a half, your intermediates, those things tend to not play out the same way as they do the drafting tracks.
Well, and I will say real quick, because I know we got to get to our picks, but there was that one ARCA driver who had the quote that said, "I'm not going to lift until I see God or the checkered flag." And I was like, well, that's pretty darn fitting, for certainly for Daytona. So
that's right.
All right, let's make some picks. Unfortunately, Mr. Harris, your debut did not go well, as you kind of explained there.
But that gives you the first pick. It's
That's
kind of like
right.
being the Bears.
You get to be the first pick. So where are you going here with Atlanta?
Well, we can only go up from here, right?
That is correct, yes.
I've thought about it. Hendrick looked good. Hard to go away from them. And I think rebounding from a little bit of a down season, hometown track. I'm going to go with Chase Elliott this week. He got a stage victory at Daytona. It's another drafting track. He's back home.
Yep.
Let's lock it in with the number 9.
Not sure about that pick. Very questionable.
Oh, stop it. All right.
Reggie is.
He has Logano.
Logano. Okay.
He was in and on time.
All right. That brings us to Jen. Jen, where are you going?
All right. Well, it hurts me to say this, but I think I'm going to go with your girl, and I'm going to go with Denny Hamlin.
Good pick.
Good pick.
Hamlin. That's a good pick. That's a good, strong one. Hope you win.
You're so
Preston.
full of it.
As pronounced earlier, Corey LaJoie.
That's a good pick. I looked at him. Some strong odds there. He actually is a popular long shot favorite at plus 4,000 this weekend. A top 5 finish in Daytona and a pair of top 5 finishes in his last 4 Atlanta races. I like that pick. But you know what? This is where I like picking last.
Okay.
Give me Brad Keselowski. He let Josh down last week. He's going to take the checkered flag home this week. I'm going to build a bigger lead. I'm going to run so far away from y'all you can't see me. Give me Brad Keselowski.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you, Josh. We appreciate your patience with Bill's ego.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna hope that I'm not gonna hope for Brad to crash by any means, but I'm just gonna hope that maybe something happens where I can get back up into the lead. And I really like the Corey LaJoie pick and not only his performance on the track, but he's a great ambassador off the track. He's been doing some things here with us at Darlington the last couple of years. So good to see Chili's on that car last weekend, and I hope he does well, but comes up just short behind Chase Elliott.
Josh, we appreciate it. We look forward to catching up with you next week.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
You're listening to The Early Game. Bill Gunner for the Ecton Law Firm. I tell you, 2024, well, it's off to a good start, but if you've dealt with the IRS, maybe it's not a good start because the IRS is planning to send out those dreaded notices of intent to levy in 2024, and you may have already received one. If you have, don't stress, don't fret. Call the Ecton Law Firm today. You can get a free consultation on how to get these problems fixed. 803-771-9800. John Ecton and his team, they're ready to offer you the peace of mind you deserve with proven local solutions that have helped thousands of families and businesses just like yours escape the IRS maze. So take the first steps towards a worry-free life today by contacting the Ecton Law Firm and getting that free consultation. 803-771-9800. You can learn more by visiting them on the web, ectonlawfirm.com. That's ECTON lawfirm.com. Call John Ecton today. Tell him Bill Gunner sent you. Thank you again, as always, to Corley Pool Solutions. They believe in providing the absolute highest quality swimming pool service at the most affordable price to you and your family. Give them a call today to check out their flat rate pricing, including all of the chemicals. 803-445-8109. Get in touch with Corley Pool Solutions today, the official sponsor of the Corley Pool Solutions Checkered Flag Challenge that we have going on Week 2 taking place, and I am going with Brad Keselowski, Preston going with Corey LaJoy, Jen taking my favorite driver, Denny Hamlin. She is now coming over to the dark side. Good to see there. Josh Harris taking Chase Elliott, and Reggie taking Joey Logano.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Off to a good start.
Give me a good race.
No, it's a long season, so off to a good start.
Yeah, that's kind of, after last year, I've been humbled a little by the long season aspect of it. But again, the favorite for the weekend, by the way, is Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney right now listed as the favorite. Brad Keselowski actually right behind him, and Chase Elliott, Josh's pick, the third best pick of the week. Kyle Busch and Ross Chastain, if you were rounding out the top 5 picks by Vegas, who is favored. 803-404-6100. Do want to tell you about Mid-State Roofing. If you've got a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek. You can give them a phone call today. They're 24-hour, 7-day-a-week call center. That's how you can get in touch with them and line up some leak detection. And then once you get the detected part down, you want to get leak prevention. And that's exactly what Mid-State Roofing does. Give them a phone call, 803-356-1919. Again, if you've got a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek. They've been the commercial leader, the industry leader in the commercial roofing business for nearly 30 years, and they are ready to help you today. So again, give Mid-State Roofing a call, 803-356-1919. They will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. And again, they have a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week call center. You'll speak with a trained technician and ready to get you that maintenance contract. 803-356-1919. If you've got a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek. We will get into the Somerville-Lexington game tomorrow, come up with a quality wager on that. We'll get into the EA Sports college football game. And, Preston, I can understand what Chris is saying here. He says, I used to kick my son's rear end in Madden. He's 16 and can still beat him occasionally.
That's great. That's great you're even doing occasionally, because the last time I turned on the Madden game, there were too many things happening. I wanted to go back to the old school pick 4 plays like Tecmo Bowl. You had to adjust for wind and passing windows. It was too much. I can't do it.
You gotta get back out there. Sounds like maybe this summer, just maybe.
This might be something that we can get into in the summer.
This summer we may have to reach out to some business and have a college football tournament.
Might be something there might be something to that.
Lead us into all of us older gentlemen who
senior
20
division.
Years ago, senior division. Yes, that's right. So we may have to look into that. One other thing we've done today, your worst or your best awful takes. Yours, you going with the Ryan Leaf?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was adamant that Ryan Leaf was going to be better than Peyton Manning. Not so.
I've managed to get about one out there a year. So this one may come in for this one could come further down the line, but we talked this morning about the quarterbacks. Mel Kiper's top 7 quarterbacks for the 2024 draft: Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix, and Spencer Rattler. And again, I have ranked them in terms of best career to worst career. Bo Nix will have the best career out of those 7. I think he falls to a good team that knows how to manage a quarterback.
That's not even the hottest take. The idea that you think J.J. McCarthy is going to have the worst career.
Yeah, J.J. McCarthy's at the very bottom of that. I've gone Nix, Penix Jr., Drake May, Spencer Rattler, Caleb Williams, and Jaden Daniels. With J.J. McCarthy, I'd need to go back and look and see what the number of starts that someone like Johnny Manziel had in his career, or A.J. McCarron.
What? I can't believe it.
Not buying in. We'll continue to monitor that. Watch it. You're all excited. It's draft season as we officially get into the pro days that take place at various universities. We will head into the NFL Combine next week. So a lot to start to break down as it pertains to the NFL draft, and specifically some South Carolina players and where they end up.
Yeah, there's going to be some players who have a shot to make an impression, especially those going out to the combine. They might be able to improve their draft stock some, but everybody's training right now, and they're getting ready. This is a very crucial season, part of the year for those players that are looking to get into the draft.
And maybe the hottest take of the day. Well, there was multiple when it came to NFL quarterbacks. Peyton Manning, underachiever. Dan Marino, potential underachiever. John Elway, potential underachiever. Eli Manning, best quarterback in the Manning family. However, it came down to Preston Thorne saying Dan Marino, much, much, much better actor than Peyton Manning.
Correct. Also, while I'm here, give Jim Carrey the Oscar for Liar Liar.
Wow, we leave you with that one. Strong way to finish the program on what's been a very strong, clean morning here on the early game, and that is all because, well, Zerorez and their patented ZR water technology. Okay, I'm making that part up. Actually, Zerorez didn't help us, but they've helped me in the past with my home, with my carpets, my rugs, my tile, the furniture, with everything. Not only that, but with my air quality in my house, because it's not just Zerorez carpet cleaning, it's Zerorez carpet and air duct cleaning. And for more information, you can give them a phone call, 803-262-4020, or you can schedule a visit online, ZerorezColumbia.com. Mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for just $129 plus a free